Self-identity. The recognition of one's potential and qualities as an individual, especially in relation to social context. Good evening, I'm Donald Devereaux, and tonight I will talk to you about self-identity. The role of the social actor. We attempt to adapt in social groups. We attempt to change ourselves and become sometimes people that we really aren't in an attempt to fit in. We become the actor to make our mark in social life. The role of the actor emerges around the age of 18 months old. So even at that very early age, there's an awareness of self. It's at that age that we start using words like me and mine, looking at ourselves in the mirror, forging out our own identities. At some point, as we evolve and become older, we strive into assimilation. And that is an attempt not to break social norms. So we become embarrassed when we break social rules. Have you ever been in a setting where you've been in a group of individuals and maybe you said something that was off base, something that was not in alliance with the actual social group that you were in? You try to assimilate and change. People change the inflections in their voice so they can sound more masculine. People change the hair color so that they can fit in. The brunette wants to be blonde because she may feel that or he may feel that is more acceptable. So the social actor is playing a role. The motivated agent. There's a quote that I want to quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. That is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. The motivated agent. The motivated agent. To be an agent is to act with direction and purpose. To move forward to the future pursuit of self-chosen valued goals. So the motivated actor, or the motivated agent rather, may choose not to have a certain mannerism or move in a certain manner when they are driven by a specific outcome. So the motivated agent is motivated by what the outcome would be. So a female, and I'll use this as an example only because I've heard this said in the past, that a female may not eat much on a first date in attempt to become more appealing on a first date. So they may order small portions of food, whether they're out with a male or female, whatever. But I've heard females say, I'm not going to eat that much. I don't eat much on a first date. That is a motivated agent's a pursuit of a certain outcome. A male may not cry in front of individuals. Maybe he may not cry on his first date in front of a female or another male. He just wants to see more masculine. So he may not cry at a movie. African Americans or any other ethnic group may try to change the inflection tones of their voice and to hide their ethnic dialect over the phone while conducting business in an attempt not to face discrimination. So they are motivated agents. This begins in our youth. Goals and values become even more important for the self in adolescence. Teenagers begin to confront what Erickson in 1963 famously termed the development challenge identity. We continue to work on ourselves as we move through life. We evolve. In our evolution, we often come out of the closet later in life, change our career paths, and we evolve into another level of truth, which brings us to the autobiographical author. I want to read this, and it's directly from the book, and I just thought it was just very important because it really ties in The autobiographical author, it really is the culmination of the actor and the motivator. So now you're moving into a state, it's the culmination of us as we've evolved. For some, it happens a little earlier, and for some of us, it happens later. I always call myself a somewhat of a late bloomer. I've moved through many phases of life, from being married, divorced, single again, uh, so many different things that have occurred in my life that have brought me to a self-awareness. And I just thought that this was a very powerful part that I wanted to read by Erickson in the book. It says, to be an adult means, among other things, to see one's own life in continuous perspective, right? So in continuous perspective, it's almost like a flow, right? Both in retrospect and prospect. So in retrospect means I'm looking backwards, looking back over my past experiences, triumphs, failures, social groups that were disastrous, and then social groups that you've been in that were prosperous. Okay, and then prospect, where you want to go, where you're striving to be, where you're going, by accepting some definition of who he is, and I'll say he, it says he, but who we are. Okay, on the basis of a function in an economy, place in sequence of generations, a status in the structure of society. The adult is able to selectively reconstruct his past in such a way that step for step, it seems that you've planned him. So we become almost like planned individuals, because our experiences allow us, as you were the actor, as we were the motivated, that motivated agent. Now we're moving to a more of a knowing. All right. And so psychologically, we do choose our parents, our family history, and the history of our kings, our heroes, and gods by making them our own. We maneuver ourselves into an inner position of proprietors of creators. All right. Erickson, 1958. It's on page 111 and 112. We try many variations of ourselves in our youth. Okay. We try to fit in. We do fad diets. We change our hair color. We buy trends that we think were cool so that we can fit in. As we mature, we have the luxury of retrospect, which we just discussed. You have that luxury to say, hey, I did this, it didn't work. Now I'm moving into my authentic self, socially, personally, emotionally, in every area. We know what we want as the autobiographical author. We know what we want. We know what we don't want. We know where we want to go and where we're headed, socially, economically. Even many of us back in school, and some of us are over 40, over 30, whatever, we're back pursuing because we have come into an awareness that this is what we want. We begin to live in a space as the autobiographical author where we move into telling our story because we are more settled and evolved as to who we are. We move into cultural relativity and understanding by understanding that we're not all the same and that we should accept people from wherever and whoever, no matter who they are. The autobiographical author is telling a story. Self-identity, the recognition of one's potential and qualities as an individual, especially in relation to social context. It is an evolution. It is a progressive thing. And thank you very much.